and maybe army worms has done a number on our fields. So we don't have a whole lot of grass now.
It's starting to come back, but it's way behind.
I kind of showed you at the end of those clips I just showed you a little bit of regrowth where they haven't been in a bit, but it's pretty bad. I do think we've probably had some armyworm damage, and I know we've definitely had a lot of drought damage. Just everything's kind of just dried up, burned up. So we're just rotating them a lot faster than we normally do. If you're new around here, we do rotational grazing. Our entire property is fenced with a single strand of hot wire. There is some spots that have like old perimeter fencing that probably wouldn't hold them. We wouldn't trust it to hold them, but the hot wire is offset in front of it. So if they were to get past the hot wire, it looks like a barrier to them. So it's worked really well for several years now. I believe we put this in like 2019.
Yes.
Maybe late 2018. But we bought our big herd of cows. We had a handful of cows before that, but bought our big herd of cows at the beginning of 2019. So 6.5 years ago, and it's worked really well. Electric fencing has been a huge blessing to us because we didn't have to go put barbed wire around this entire farm. So this is like a 100-acre field, and we have paddocks set up. It varies on the number of paddocks and the size of the paddocks based on the grass, but there's a fence going down the middle that's permanent. It's a single strand of hot wire, but it's a permanent setup with fiberglass posts. And then we come off of that, there's permanent fences going down parallel to that down each side. And then we come off of that and make the paddocks, if that makes sense. And we can make those bigger, smaller.
Whatever the situation calls for. Like if we gotta go out of town for a while, we may make 3 paddocks into one big paddock. Like right now, if we don't have a lot of growth, we're moving them a lot more. When there's a lot of growth and you have time to move them, you can make them smaller and move them 1-2 times a day. Whatever you can manage.
We don't generally do 1 or 2 times a day. There was a time that we were doing once a day when Lane lived here and worked for us. It gave him work to do to get paid, and it's good for the cows to move them more often, but we're not at that point now. We actually have a grazing plan with a grassland specialist, and they suggest once a week. So we're maintaining that plus some. We're probably going 3 or 4 days and then moving them. So I call that a win with the season of life we're in right now, that we're accomplishing that.
When we started kind of as basic as we could afford, really. So I did lay a water line when I laid put the fence in. It's a 5,000 foot of water line on this 100-acre pasture. And then we had underground quick connect valves, pretty much. You just plug them and go. So we would have Lane at the time, he would be moving water from paddock to paddock to paddock. And me and Andrea got to talking, when he moves out, we're not going to be having time to do all that. So last year we put in for another NRCS program. We put in for several of them several different times, but this was to put in tire tanks, and we ended up putting in, was it 5 or 6? So I've kind of got the paddocks, based off of those on size, so they can have 1 or 2, depending on where they're at, different water tanks.
So we are pulling that green you can see back there is a mineral feeder. Everything we have is mobile, and so we're pulling that. We used to pull, like Ben said, a skid with a water tank, but we have to set everything up to move because these cows don't stay in the same spot, and they have to have all the things that they would need if their pasture was just permanent, that they were on all the time.
So what I do while we're driving around, I'm looking for somewhere that's got weeds, unwanted vegetation, like straight ahead.
Right there.
There's briars in there, so I will park this right on top of it, and they will get around and they'll trample all this
One good thing about the dry weather, that's a ditch that stays wet and it's rough, and there's spots that are deep from little waterfalls from when the water really gets to rushing, and it's really hard to mow, but it's also a really good place for the mama cows to hide their calves when they have them. So one good thing is when it gets dry, like it has this year, it happened a couple years ago as well, we're able to mow the entire thing, so we've knocked it way down, so calves can't hide in there as much, and if we need to find one, we can. You also just got to be observant. Ben is putting a new post in because that part where we just moved them into was almost on the ground.
Forgot we turned it off after I jumped.
One thing about if you're going to do an electric fence system is you need a really good charger. You need bigger than you think you need, but then you need to be really careful and really don't touch it ever.
Or even get close to it.
Yeah.
This one has jumped and got me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably that close to it, but
We've touched it a few times, not on purpose. We have had some kids out here, like from church and different things, that they're like, I want to touch it. And we're like, feel free. But it hurts. It's pretty strong. It's not the current that's going to like give you a heart attack or something. Some people think that. But it just physically hurts. You don't want to do it.
yeah, it'll make you hurt yourself.
Yeah, it'll make you like, if you touch it with your hand and it feels like it goes across your chest and your body, your arms will almost feel like really limp, like you've had a really strong workout or something. So get a strong charger, but don't touch it. That is our South Pole bull. He's not as much of a pet as we've had in the past, but that's okay. He doesn't mess with us. We don't mess with him. We got a lot of red cows and calves.
Yay.
So there's the water. That's the tire tanks. And we just swapped the wire when they were in this paddock right here. The wire was over there so they could get to it, and then we swap it over there. We've got 2 fiberglass poles on each side, something to kind of stabilize it, because it'll ride the wire down if you're not careful. So actually had Eric, our son-in-law, drive those in one day, and that's helped tremendously. Also, these tumble wheels, we got these from Gallagher. That's another feature that we've kind of we especially like at least one right there by where the water is, because you can see that helped Ben to roll it and get it over here on the right side of the water. And
when we first started out, we had just a regular step-in post right there. When you start moving the wire to either side of that tire tank, that step-in post starts bowing over real bad. So I put that in there, and man, it's worked great.
Anytime it seems like you make a corner with a post, they start to bend over. So you kind of need a straight line. So anyway, you can see the cows are happy for now. We've got, I think, 22 calves out there with them. We will be weaning those. The only vaccines we give here on our farm is blackleg. It's something that lives in the soil around here, and it's killed calves of ours before. And it attacks healthy calves about weaning age. And so we do give that vaccine, and they need it, and they need a booster about a month later. So the first time we did it, we just did it twice, and we didn't schedule it with weaning. It was just a rookie mistake. And then since then, about a month before we're gonna wean, we give the first round, and we ban the little bulls that we're gonna make into steers. And then a month later, we give the booster shot, and they get weaned. So, and we've timed it up this time. October, they'll get the first shot and get banded. November, they'll get the second shot. We're also taking the steers you see me feed every day in November. We're timing all that up together so that they'll get their second shot and get weaned. The steers will go, and we've got a whole pen of last year's calves at another place that while we've got the trailer hooked up, we'll go get some of those and bring them over here to start feeding them as the next round of beef. It's all gonna time together. Everyone's gonna shift and move around.
It's just constant rotation, constant work, but
it takes just thinking and planning,
Yes.
because we'd have to do all those jobs separately, or we can time them all up together and kind of hook the trailer up one time, do all this shuffling, and then be done with it instead of hooking the trailer up 3 or 4 times to get all this accomplished. Anyway, that's it. What have you thought over the time about the electric fence setup? Have you been happy with it?
Yeah, that's the only way to go. I can't imagine having all these different paddocks, pens, pastures, whatever you want to call them, all in barbed wire.
No.
One awesome thing about it is we have come out here and planted seed in this pasture to try to get different varieties of grasses growing, and in doing that we took the cows off of it for a whole year, moved them on other pastures that we actually cut for hay, let this grow up and cut it for hay. So if you had all these different pens like this, that would be a headache, because you're always just be doing little circles. This way we can go.
We pulled it all up and cut these as hay fields.
Yes.
Took them back to our hay fields, like you said. Let them be back there eating,
Using the bathroom.
pooping, whatever, fertilizing. It was good for the hay fields too. So yeah, it was great. And we have other places like where last year's calves are right now. It's got permanent barbed wire fencing. We're not going to go in and rip those out.
Oh, no.
I mean, we're good with using them. It's just, it saved a lot of time and money building this over here in electric fencing. We would never have been able to afforded that much fencing materials to do barbed wire fencing.
No way.
So you can do it a lot cheaper. I'm not going to tell you it's cheap to go buy a good charger and good wire and all that. I'm not saying like it's pennies, you can get it for nothing. No, but you can get in it for a lot less than the supplies for everything else. And building fence is not easy, and it's not cheap to hire someone to do either. So if you're going to build barbed wire, you're going to have to either do it, and it's going to take a lot of time, or hire someone, it's going to take a lot of money.
And this was quick, easy, just so portable. I say portable. All these paddocks, like I said, you can make them any size you want them.
Yeah. So I don't know. We just thought we would film a little bit while we're out here with the cows. If you are thinking about getting into not just cows, you could do this with horses, sheep, goats. There's people that do our exact setup, but they have 2 wires, and they keep sheep and goats in with their herd or running a few paddocks behind them for parasite reasons and control and things like that. So it's very versatile. You can do it with all kinds of livestock. So anyway, reach out to us if you have questions. We just thought we would give you a little overview, and you could see how easily the cows moved. They are so used to this, and it did not take them long. We just have to call them. They come running. They know that means they're going to get to move.
And another thing about them being so used to hot wire, if we want them to go anywhere on this place,
Yeah.
we can take 1 wire behind them and push them wherever we want them to go.
Yeah. He's got the reel. I've got the end of the reel, and we just walk up the pasture, and it's not hot. We just walk behind them, and they know, hey, we need to go. They're serious. If we have to, sometimes we've had to get close to the center wire. I told you we have permanent, much thicker metal wire.
High tensile wire, yeah.
Yeah, in the middle and on the sides. We can get close to either one of those and go ahead and just hook the hook on there and let it be hot for a second and touch whoever's in the back. And then you got their attention, yeah. And they'll do what you want, because working with animals, especially when you get them up to move them, they're not always gonna want to do what you want them to do. And sometimes that's the day it's gotta happen. So it's not like, well, we'll try again tomorrow. No, they got to get up in the corral. So that's, like you said, that's really helped us. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And I guess if you got questions, reach out. We'll do our best to answer them. Leave us a comment or shoot us an email at vwff@yahoo.com. I will say we have worked with Gallagher in the past, but that's because we really do believe in their products. They're so much higher quality than a lot of other things we've tried, because we've tried other things when we were like, oh, let's save $1, order something off Amazon. You get what you pay for.
Yes, that is 100% fact.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. If you're getting into this, quality over quantity is better in this situation. So,
and always go bigger on the charger. I've
Yes.
heard so many people complain, hot wires just won't keep them in. They will.
They will. You can't skimp on that. That is your biggest piece of equipment. Most important with this setup.
So to give you an idea, some people will look at a hot wire charger and $50 or $100, maybe even $250. This one that we got running this whole farm is like $1,500. So it's a big one.
But it runs a lot of feet of fence.
Oh yes.
Miles, probably.
Well, yeah, because it's a mile from the house to the back
Yeah.
of this pen, and it's got 3 of them permanently, and then all
Right.
these cross wires. So
Yeah. And it runs my milk cow
Yep.
section.
The hogs.
Yeah. So you can see, I mean, really in reality, $1,500 to run all of that, that's actually not bad.
No.
If you're going something much smaller, you can get away with something much smaller. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See y'all. God bless.